Hi, this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and welcome to Shades of Love Collaboration. And this is hosted by LiviesLovelies, also known as the Fabulous Pham. And a group of us have made like different things in the love theme, and mine was a flip. So I've already added this flip to a bigger journal, but I'm just going to show you the flip part of it and the process and how I made it. But let me show you the completed part of it. So starting out, here's the cover, or the outside part of it. This is one of the flowers I made in another tutorial. You may have seen it, I'm not sure. And then here's a little tea that has a little interactive thing. You can take the spoon out of it. So let me set this back down so I can show you how it opens and all that. So you have a pocket right here on the side, and this comes out, and it has the word Valentine. And I included in the pocket, this is a picture of my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. This is her in her high school. It's a picture of her in high school graduation. And this is the school she attended. And I can use that as a journaling spot because the book that this flip is going to be in, or is in, it's like an ancestry love kind of thing too. So it's kind of got two things going on. So this flips out, and then I have some more ephemera. And this one is, this is the passenger list. I got this from Ancestry because my sister and I, we both do a lot of Ancestry. You can find a lot of really great stuff on there. It's when my grandfather arrived on the passenger crew, and this is just a copy of the record, but I can also journal on it. And he was in the war. He and both my maternal grandfathers were in the war. And then here's just some ephemera of, it's a newspaper printout of some of the things that were going on in the 1940s during World War II, the war that they were both in. So let me put this back in here. And then this has a pocket here, and I also have like an interactive little teacup here. The tea bag comes out. I'm gonna put that back in there. It's kind of fragile, so I'm not gonna do too much pulling it out. And then this comes out. I need to add something in there. So I'm just going to put this back in this little side pocket. And then this flips open. And then I have some more ephemera. And this is my grandfather, my maternal grandfather's Army enlistment registration. I thought that would make some good ephemera. And then this is the census of my maternal grandmother and where she lived. And I just kind of distressed the parts that were of my family. And this is a good journaling spot. I'm going to add more stuff, but right now it's already kind of chunky for this little small area. And I just added some Tim Holtz specimen ephemera from one of his little packs. And just some washi tape and stuff. That's how, and I added a key and some more washi tape. And then for here, this is from this little love bingo card. This, and then some of these words. I have a loved or a love themed digital kit that's on my Etsy shop. So I used that for this, and this slides out. And, you know, like I said, it's just like a little bingo card or whatever. And it just slides down. And then this opens up. And then here's some more little butterflies from the Dollar Tree. And some more of the little Tim Holtz specimen things and some ephemera. And then here's a digital picture of me and my husband. And I just kind of added it to a digital photo frame that I also have in my Etsy shop. I just added our picture to it. Okay, and then also these flip out. And I have in here like some of the different biblical types of love, like eros, romantic love. And then here's my my paternal grandparents when they were on their honeymoon. And then my paternal grandfather, he was also in the army. And then I used Pragma, Enduring Love. And then here's my maternal grandparents for their wedding. And then my maternal grandfather. And I use Agape Love, Unconditional Selfless Love for Others. Because I just think anyone who goes to war and who fights for their country, that has to be Agape Love. When you care about others and you serve and you risk your life for other people, you know, that's love. So, but yeah, this is the flip. And, you know, like I said, that comes out and opens up. And so then let me show you how I made it. Okay, so I'm going to make a hidden pocket. And basically, this is an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. And all I did was I got my scoring board. And I came in 3 inches over and scored. And then I came over to the very end and went backwards 3 inches, 1, 2, 3, and scored. And then they basically fold over like so. And there's like a little overlap, but that's fine too. So you have your 8.5 inch by 11 paper. Come in and score at 3 inches from the front, and then 3 inches over from the back. Fold it over. And your paper measures approximately 5 inches by 8.5 inches. So what I did was I just took a ruler and I lined it up on my cutting mat. So at the 5 inch mark, I'm aware that I just came in roughly 1 inch, 1.5 inches over into the middle. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Move my clutter out the way. Okay, so let me slide this over. So I came in, and this is roughly 5 inches. Okay, so I came in and this is roughly 5 inches. And so I drew a line at roughly 1.5 inches, or actually 1.25 inches over from this side, and 1.25 inches over from this side, so that it would be centered. And then I drew a line between those points, and I slid it down just a little bit, and I did the exact same thing. I made sure that the ruler was lined up at the 5 inch mark, and then I came on over at like 1.25 inches over and put a dot, come back over this way 1¼ inches, put a dot, and then just connect the two lines together. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to take, you can either cut it, you can cut from this side on the line or slightly above the line. Because that's going to be our hidden spot. And then I'm just going to take a trim knife or a box cutter or whatever you want to call that. Get your ruler back out and make sure you have it on the cutting surface, and then you're going to cut where your line is. This one's going to be a smaller line because of the way it folds over. So I'm just going to come in with some small scissors and clip that, and then turn around like that, and I'm going to clip that. And if it isn't perfect, that's fine. Let me zoom back out so you can see a little more clear. You can just polish it off a little bit. Just come in and clip it to where it's not jagged looking. Because you don't want to have a jagged opening. Okay, so then we're just going to put it back like so, and you have your opening. Okay, so now that that's closed, I'm just going to take a pen, and the portion of the paper that's directly up underneath it, I'm just going to draw a line on both sides. I'm going to get my ruler so I can try to keep it straight. And this is going to be where I'm going to need to trim it at. Okay, so basically you can just come in from this other short end, and you're just going to try to make it level with the cut that you currently have. Okay, so that when you do fold this over, the whole goal is to create a closure that's going to fit down into here and fold over. And it'll keep your paper sealed, and I'm going to have something going over top of it so that this will come out and then this will open up. Okay, so I'm going to cover like a mat. I'm going to make a mat for this. So it's basically going to be for the flap, and so the flap is roughly 3 inches by the 8.5 inches. So I'll make it 2 3/4 by 8 1/4 inches, and I think I'll use brown. So I'm just going to cut it down. So 8 1/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. I'm going to do 2 of them because I'll need one for both sides of the flaps. Because this is going to go over top like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm just going to take my pen and I'm going to outline where I need to cut out. And I'm just going to cut it out just a little bit bigger than that area, simply because I know that whenever I put it over it, it needs to be shorter. So I'm just going to put it in my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to add roughly like a 1/16 of an inch. And cut it. I should have did both of these at the same time, but that's fine. And I'm just going to come through and then cut this straight. So when I put this on here, it'll fit like so. It'll become a mat. Let me just set it down so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, and then I'm going to do the other one the same way. You know, I might do the other one in a different color instead of brown, just to kind of bring it out a little bit. I think I'll use beige. Yeah, I think I'll use beige. Just to kind of give it a little extra, just to make it pop, you know. So, let me make sure I have my 8 1/4 inch. By 2 3/4 inches. Then I'm going to do this the same way because it's going to fit on this side. So I'm just going to, let's see, let me line it up approximately where it's going to go. Hold it in place, flip it over, mark my lines of what needs to be cut out. I'm just going to cut that out. A little bit wider. And I'm just gonna clip. And then this one will go like so on here. So we'll have these two, you know, roughly going over top each other like that. And then I'm also going to need a mat for in here. You know, I might just leave these blank because I might put like a pocket or something on them. So I am going to need a mat for the inside. And it measures, it's roughly 5 inches. I think it's like 5 by 8 1/2. Yeah, 5 by 8 1/2. So I'm gonna need a 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. And I'll do brown. So let's see here. So let's get my 8 1/4. By 5, no, by, what did I say? 8 1/4 by 4 3/4. And this will go here. And in the center. So I'm going to glue these down and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm using one of my kits on Etsy, so I'm going to use this little bingo loved card, and I'm just going to back it onto some, I guess, some brown cardstock. No, I think I'll back it onto some gray cardstock. And this is where I'm going to create the little closure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper of this gray, and I'm just going to fold it in half. And this is going to become what I use to close this right here, this little area. This is going to fit down into here. And I'm going to have to cut it down to where this is going to fit in the middle. So I'm just going to mark right here. I'll just mark it going across so I can know where I need to cut it, trim it down to. And I might trim it down even lower than that. But the width of this just happens to be 2.5 inches, but you can make it a little bit smaller, just as long as it fits this little area here. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this down where I folded it at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it back inside. I'm going to put it back inside the slot where it's going to go. And I'm going to go ahead and add some glue around the edge. And then I'm just going to attach this card where I want it at, so that when it closes, or this is where it's going to be. So I can just take this back out and lift it up and make sure it's completely dry all the way. If not, you're going to have problems. So you want to make sure that that dries. Make sure you don't have any glue right here. And you basically have your little fold, your hidden little hidden area. And you can take it a step farther and expand on it, which I think I will do that. I'll use gray, as I'm going to create some pockets for it. This is going to sit inside. So basically what I'm going to do, since this is already 11 inches, I'm just going to fold this over in threes. I'm going to try to, let me get the scoring board. Or better yet, I'm just going to fold it in half. Yeah, so that'll be 5.5, 8.5 by 11, so 5.5. I'm going to do 2 of them like that. 5.5. Oh, I did that wrong. That's okay, because I'm going to cover that up with a mat. So you have your 5.5, and there's like a little lip right there which you can trim off if you need to. Let me make sure I did that. That was 5.5. Sometimes these papers aren't exactly the way they are supposed to be. It'll say by 11, but for some reason it's like 11 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch or something. So let me just fold this over. Because 5 1/2 and 5 1/2 is 11, but for some reason I've still got that extra left over. Well, we can take care of that just by trimming it down. We'll just take that little excess off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 3rd sheet of gray. And I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch. And I want to make sure, I'm going to come over and make sure that, let's see, this right here, what did I say this was, 5 inches? Yeah, this is 5 inches. So I need a center that's 5 inches. So I need to go score over at 5 1/2 inches. Yeah. And then I'm going to score at 6 inches. And that 6 inches is where I'm going to cut this paper. Or I could just fold it over as well. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to fold that over too. And let that become another, like, pocket or whatever. So, let's see what we have. This right here is basically going to sit right here. Okay, and then we're going to connect. The goal was to just connect this onto this scored piece here, and then that just be it, and then this would just fold over, you know. But I'm going to create a pocket, I think. So let me go ahead and glue this on. So I'm going to take this, let me zoom out just a little bit. So this is the 8 1/2 and 11 paper. I scored here at a 1/2 inch, and then I scored here at 5 1/2 inches, and then I scored once again at 6 inches. So on this sheet, I'm going to take one of the ones that I scored in half, one of the 8 1/2 by 11s that I scored in half, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to add it just right at the score line, at the 6 1/2 inch score line. But I'm going to leave just a little bit of space here so that when it folds over it won't like bend and bulk up. But before I do that, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to take the hole punch. We'll just use the 2 1/2 inch punch because I don't know where I put my other one at. So we'll use a 2 1/2 inch punch. And this is just basically going to let us know that this is where the pocket begins, the entrance to the pocket. Okay, so let's turn this back over again. And then we'll get ready to glue this on here. And I'm only going to put glue on just 3 sides. You can use wet glue, or you can use double-sided tape, or however you like to do it. Okay, so I just went on ahead and I just folded this together, and I'm going to line it up, making sure that I leave a little bit of space at the margin. And so this flips over, and then this also, you also have your opening right here once this dries. And it has this little 1/2 inch extra loop, which is fine. And then this one is going to be pretty much the same way, but it's going to be in a little bit closer. Let's see, this is going to flip out. So I'm actually only connecting this right here. So I'm just going to add some glue, and you can use double-sided tape or wet glue, whichever you want to use. Both are just as good. You want to make sure that this is completely dry. And if you wanted to, you could add an additional pocket. Since this one has a pocket over here, you could just add another piece of paper and create a pocket for it as well. But for time's sake, I think I'll just leave it bare. So we know that this is going to go in the center right here. Okay. And this is going to flip over like so. This is going to go down, and this is going to flip like so. So you've got your little pocket here, and this is going to flip out. This is going to flip out. And then this is going to be connected to your book. So you're going to have to decorate these sides, 4 sides here and 4 sides here. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to add some mats and add some decorations, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so it's basically complete. It just needs, I just need to add some stuff to it. But yeah, basically, you have your little pocket here. This opens up and you can decorate it here. This flips out, decorate it here and here. And then you have your pocket here on this side. This opens out, you have more room, more room, more room. And then you have your original this one that we just made, and then this opens up, and then you can do some decorating here. So I hope this video was helpful, and you'll continue to watch my channel and other videos and stuff, and check out my blog, social media sites, and other videos, and thanks for watching.